Hi, this is how you repair your PS3 in case you've gotten like the red light of death that's on the Xbox. So after you remove your top cover, and everybody knows, if you don't, there's a little tab on the end here that has a security logo on it. You pull it off. You take a Zerk tool and you extract that, and then you slide the cover away from it and it pops off. Okay, so anyway, this is where we're at. And if you guys want to see how it goes back on, let's see if I got it right. Okay, that's how it goes back on. So when you pull the screw out, it's pretty simple. Put it back in, it slides back on. You put the screw in, it doesn't come off. So anyway, that's done. All right. I sometimes keep the screws in one place, but you can put them wherever you want. On here, it'll tell you that it'll have an S by a couple of these screws. That means they're short screws. So we'll just extract all these, and I'll have. Well, I'll show you where they're at. One's here, one's here, one's here, one's here, one's here, one's here, and one's here. Okay, so I'm going to remove these. I'm going to have Hunter put this on pause, and I'll be back to you when I've pulled all the screws out. Okay, so I'm back. I've removed all the screws, and these are the long screws. There's 6 of them, and they go into these holes. And there's one small screw, like I said, and it's located right here. This is the Zerk tool, the bolt that's on the end. Okay, I just want to show you. The others are Phillips. All this whole top board is all Phillips. The only Zerk tool is right here. Okay? So anyway, we're going to go to pulling the front cover off here. And Hunter, I'm going to have you put it on pause for just a second. Okay, so once you unscrew the bolts, you're just going to pop it up from the back like this. And it's going to tilt forward, and you just lift it off. Okay? I just set this to the side. It's your top of your control board. So what we have now is we have your disk drive and we have your hard drive. Okay, so we have Hunter zoom in on here. This cable right here has to come out. That hooks itself up to this. And then you have a band right here. You're going to flip this little switch, little flippy thing right there, and the cord's going to come off. Okay, and we're just going to set that to the side like we did the other one. And we're going to set this little cord right here, right there with the other one as well. Okay, so what we have now is we have the hard drive sitting here. Personally, I always take this one off because it's attached to the hard drive. And when I move the hard drive out of here, I don't want this cord hanging out. Okay, so I do that. And we're back to a screwdriver, Phillips, and I might have to go to a smaller one, so Hunter, go ahead and put down on pause over it. So this Phillips is really small, it's really dinky. Okay, so anyway, shove it down inside this little area. There's a little bolt here. Gonna pull that out. Hopefully it comes out. Okay, and there's that bolt. Okay. And then I've got this one right here. Gonna pull that one out. You see, it's the same length, so we're cool so far, right? And I think this last one, and it's longer. So you want to remember that when you come back to that side, it's longer. So there's a little flipper here, and then you pull this plug out right here. Okay, so it looks like you got all your bolts, right? Everything looks cool. You don't. You have one more right down here, and you have a ground wire I'm going to show you here pretty soon. Come up over the top of it, Hunter, so you can see it. It's a ground wire right there, and we're pulling out this first screw. Okay?
Oh, you have to take it so you guys can.
And you'll see this is kind of a small screw, so you don't want to lose this down in this whole area. Okay, I have a magnetic tip, so I always just grab these and pick them up. Okay, then we have this ground wire right here. Might as well just take care of it now, because that ground wire has to come off of here in just a second. So I just do both of them right then at the same time, and then you'll know it's a ground wire. It has a flat washer on it. Okay, and now we're ready to pull it out, and it's kind of tough because there's a plug-in that goes in right here. So just remember, it pulls over from the opposite side. Okay, so that's that. And that's the hard drive taken out of this. Go ahead and put that on pause. Okay, so where we're at now is I disconnected this cable. It's right here. It's one of those flippers again, and I pulled it apart. There's also a plug-in right here. Can you see it, Hunter? This plug-in?
Yeah.
Okay. This plug-in needs to come out as well, okay, because that's going to connect this fan motor, which is right here, to this PC board. All right. Now, personally, guys, I pull this strip right here, I flip it, and I pull this thing out of the way, because you don't want to damage this. If you damage that strip, you're really kind of screwed. Now, what we have to do is we have to get access to this motherboard, and a couple things stop us. It's the hard drive holder, it's holding it in. So again, we take a Phillips screw, we pop it off. You'll notice how small the screws are, and they're fatter. So I just keep that one over there. Then we got these two little dinky screws that go with it. But remember, most of these screws on this system, you can only put the right screw into the right spot anyway. So you grab the wrong screw and try and put it in, you're not going to be able to get in there anyway. Might have to go a little smarter here. Okay, so, and again, this is one of those little dinky ones. Okay, and we put over there. See, so we have all three of those for that case. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this case just comes out. Okay, so that's just a cover for that case. And if you want to, like if you're really kind of anal about it, which I kind of am, just so you remember, put the screws that go to that thing on it. All right, that way you don't trip on it. Okay, so now we have to take this off. You see this cable right here? This cable connects the front control panel to this PC board. So this thing has to come off. And we got to get it out of the way, and we can't break it. Now, you can't really break it, but what you can do is it can come disconnected from this little slot right here. You'll see it's round. Cool thing about it is if it comes off of there, you can just pop it back on. It's got like a little hole and a cap, and it fits right over the top of it. Okay, and so I just move it out of the way. Okay, but if you want to take it off there, you'll see it pivots. Okay, that means it comes off. All right, so if something pivots like that, that means it comes off. Now we're going to take the panel off. And this is where we are getting to the system. So I stress on these screws a lot, okay? So I normally set all these screws that belong to this part of this board all in one area, because I don't want to lose them. And some of these are, if I'm not mistaken, some of them are grounded screws. That means they have to be in here. And if you miss one, your system might not light off. So, really important that you remember where all the screws are.
Oops.
You can see, it's pretty easy. There's not much going on here. Just pieces. all kind of layered on top of each other. You're gonna see when we pull this off, it's kind of crazy. If you want to pull this line out right now, if anybody cares, this is called a varistor. Okay, this, if you don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now here we are. This is the plate that's going to hold the part that we're going to repair. Okay, so once I take this plate off and I set them to the side, when I pull this component off of here, we're going to start seeing what the issue is with this machine. And again, I just kind of throw these. Remember, we're looking for the same area. Let's just keep in the same area. That way, there's a lot of screws in this machine, so it's better just to kind of separate them. This is like my 7th one, and it probably took me 3 of them to realize that. Guess I'm not as quick of a study as I thought. But anyway, here we go. Go ahead and put it on pause now. So now you have pulled them all off, all screws in the 2 plates I just showed you. You just kind of lift the edge of this up, and it pulls right off. So I just set it to the side. Okay. Now we're to where this motherboard is actually attached to this thing. So.
And this is the big part.
This is a big part. So remember, see these holes right here? That was those 2 plates on top of that thing that went on here. Okay, so you can see we're getting right to it. You just grab the PC board, nothing's attached to it now, right? And you flip it upside down. This is the area that we're fixing, okay? So we're gonna pull this shield off of here in just a second, this whole panel, and then we're gonna have access to this and to this. We're gonna clean them up, and we'll be right back, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so what we do is after you, like I showed you, if you pull the screws out, you're gonna just take this panel, you're gonna kind of tilt it up, it pulls away, all right? And you'll see the bottom side of it. Don't even worry about it. It's got nothing to do with this. So just set it to the side. Now what we're doing now is, we're gonna do this in a couple stages here.
And this is acetone.
That's right, Hunter, this is acetone. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take this acetone, and we're going to take the old heatsink formula off of this, okay? And we're going to polish this whole thing up. Now, some people go, oh, dude, why don't you use paper towels? Well, I do something at the end, but it's kind of wrong. Just get this crap off. It's kind of gooey, but you want it off of the whole entire thing.
What is it?
It is the heatsink formula that we're trying to get off of here now, because it's not any good. Okay?
Oh, and that's how it gets the red light of death, the heat sink formula going bad, huh?
That's right. It's no longer holding the temperature for the system, and the system just shuts down. So that's really all it is. This heat sink formula, just all it does is controls temperature for the processor. And without it, you're screwed. And you can see the dark spots here? This is where it's gotten heated up, and that's what's going on. That's why it's failing. And yeah, you know what? Maybe one day we won't be able to fix it. I'm not really sure. So I take now a little bit of toilet paper, and I put the same amount of acetone on, and then I just go over it, and I just polish it, make sure it's all polished.
And without heatsink formula, you couldn't play the system.
It won't work. And so I look at it, and it's really reflective. And when I can see my face in this, I'm good. All right, so that one's done. So now we take the PC board, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay? Difference this time is we're going to heat this board up when we're done. We're going to get this processor right here so hot, and it's actually going to kind of warp the processor a little bit. Not a lot. It's going to be enough that when we put the heatsink formula